Hello Porsche files that happen to like the cartoons and deformed Porsches. So this is a Choro-Q of a Porsche 906, very plain, not much paint. I don't even know if I reviewed this. I do like that they have these little molded in details in the tires. But anyways, this thing, if you're curious, is from 1985, somewhere between 1980 and 85. I have to assume it's got to be 85 or up. Anyways, yeah. I like it because it's a historic race car. In the 66 24 Hours of Le Mans, this placed after the GT40s. But it beat out the much larger displacement Ferraris of the day. So it's only a 2-liter 6-cylinder versus V8s and V12s. Anyways, I got the race version here. I did look up the number 98, but I couldn't find any images of it. So, well, actually, let's just go look at these photos I did pull up. I did find an image with the red hood. And obviously this is a whole silver body, but it's got this yellow window in the back. So obviously these images are not this car. Possibly this car existed. I'm sure I don't know. If you know about Porsche 906 history, please let everyone know if this number 98 did exist. Okay, let's take a look here. Now this is not a Choro-Q. The mold is a ChoroQ, but I think what happened is Tonka bought out the molds later on, because you see this raised rectangle? That's where they raised it because they had to cover up all that lettering. See? So that lettering was probably there, and then they cut it all out to be a flat rectangle, and then they just printed it on here. That's what I suspect, but obviously I don't know for sure. Anyway, standard construction of a screw up front and a tab in the back. Then we have the standard 5-spoke chromes, and this one has Dunlop molded into the tire sidewalls. And then the silver paint is nice, and the printing is nice too, very legible. No stickers, it's actually paint. Some smokiness, transparency to the cockpit. You can see the gear of the spring motor. It's a wind-up toy. Ooh, that tire is cracked already. It's pretty old probably. Even that paint, maybe that's a scratch. Anyways, I like how they did the printed on graphics, kind of like Hot Wheels does nowadays. This is actually a sticker. You can see the edge of it, this shell logo. Some paint, a little, I don't know, black paint there. I suppose that might be a Porsche logo, or supposed to be. This side, okay. The roof looks like it could be a separate piece. Good separation of color, so. And then obviously nothing in the taillights, but you can just hit that with some red paint pretty easily because it's raised. So I'm going to do a 3D printed wheel swap. I already looked up the images of the steel wheels this thing was rolling. You can rewind back to those photos if you want. So this tab is always problematic. It's not really meant to be taken apart. See, it seems like a little wider. So when that happens, hold on, I got to push it back. I like to take a hobby knife and cut out the back edge a little bit, so it can flex through that rectangular opening a little bit better. Don't take off too much because you can take the whole tooth off, but hopefully that's enough now to clear it. Yep, there we go. So there's the inside construction. Yeah, they are separate pieces. And then take this off. I'm going to back out so you can see what I'm doing. This little tab holds the motor in place. Gotta be careful. This plastic's probably quite brittle now, being so old. I don't think they designed these toys to last. Alright, so I'm gonna save those for another project. Alright, so I managed to, get the wheels on. I reused the axles, but I gotta tell you, these Turbo Trickster axles are horrible. They're the barb type. And it's very much impossible to get the things off the motor one without bending the axle of the motor, because they're barbs. They're not they're just difficult to remove. And pleasantly, the tires didn't crack. They're definitely old, but they didn't crack, so that's good. And the stance is actually pretty good from this particular toy here. So there we go. Put it next to the plain Jane one there. Maybe I'll sell that or something. I'll need it. A couple other race cars. We have a Porsche 938 or something it was called. It doesn't say on the bottom, but it's some sort of off-road 911. It was like the predecessor to the 959 Dakar car. So this is by a company called CART, C-A-R-T, so it's a 996. Here's a Choro-Q, I believe. Yeah, this is a Choro-Q of a 956 with some sort of Omron livery. Never heard of that company. And there's another Choro-Q of a 996. Funky little yellow lights and stuff. So, there you go. So pleasantly, there are some cartooned race cars that are done for Porsche here, so across a couple different brands. But today we got this guy, and I think its magnitude's better than this plain one, so I'm very happy to have this. Yeah, in particular, that rear stance is great. The front one's a little bit gappy. You could use poster putty and not use the axles at all, but being a race car, I tend to use the axles because you shouldn't have crazy camber on a race car. So thank you for watching. Appreciate you checking this out. We'll see you the next time around.